Travis Wayne Goodsell. Women, run. Run from the church now. Oh my God. The church believes you are the sinner when you get raped. And they say that the healing power of Jesus comes from drugs. I knew all that information, but to hear it from the church's own video. The church's own video. To hear her. I hope she was an actress. I hope she hasn't been a victim of rape. Jesus erases my sin. You bastard, Oaks. You bastard. Oh, Mormons. This is what you get when you miss my conference videos. The church is not true. How do I get this through? What manner of presentation do I do? If I do an appearance of faith promotion, I get a comment from a Mormon, "This video looks suspicious." I can't win. I can't get through to Mormons. It can't be done. Oh my God. But yeah, the church physically fell yesterday. Physically fell. Not the spiritual falling on conference when Nelson had to confess, I really don't know the day or the hour when Jesus is coming. I was sure it was in a couple of days. I was sure. Nope. Nope. No man knows the day or the hour of the coming of Jesus. No, duh. He doesn't exist. Created by Constantine. The big lie. Oh my God. And for those of you who are ex-fo nevermos who are atheists, and yeah, religion is all wrong. Joseph was Jewish. Book of Mormon, Jewish. Bible, Jewish. This is how mentally in need of drugs Mormons are. For their sin of illiteracy caused by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Unbelievable. Bullying Abuse 101. When the victim complains, you then complain you're the victim of their abuse. Right on cue, right, Oaks? You sensitive snowflake. Tart of dyskinesia. So, Oaks was sure that this was going to be the second coming of Jesus. So much so that he predicted it as a living prophet of Jesus gave a prediction of the future, of the coming day and hour of Jesus, despite him even having said before that conference, no man knows the day or the hour of Jesus' second coming. He said, this is not the end of the world, but merely a test, a trial run for the second coming. And in case you're a casual Mormon who's a lazy learner and a lax disciple, just drinking the Kool-Aid, not bothering to study, but yet think you know better than me. The second coming means mass murder and coup of governments. As the church steals money, so yeah, that's exactly what happened in 2020 and 2021. A test run. Mitt Romney was almost murdered. They had it on tape. They showed us the tape. I've shown you the videos and the tape and the pictures. Mitt Romney, no. Everybody knows about the underwear because of Mitt Romney running for president. It was a shh, don't tell. That's the whole point. Is that Joseph Fielding Smith Sr., in The Way to Perfection, under the Gathering at Adamon-Diamond by Voice of the Priesthood, page 291, said, nobody's supposed to know about this. Not even Mormons. They're not supposed to know. You guys aren't supposed to know. Oops. I leaked it in 2021 after October conference. And now I'm here, thanks to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who don't want to erase my sins. Wow. Yeah, the church ain't never going to be erased of their sins towards me. The damage they have done to me is irreparable. And they don't even bother to care to try. They will never admit guilt. They will never admit responsibility. They will never confess. Because they're the living prophets of Jesus. They're above all that. Everything they do is perfect. So yes, they're going to countersue this decision ruling yesterday. I hope they get bleep smacked. I can't believe the judge even allowed them to countersue, to appeal. My hell. So thank you, little sister Jessica, the virgin in all of this. The innocent virgin. Alright, let's start knocking these down. So these are the latter days. Nelson at least got that right. He was late, but he got it. And so, we're now in the millennium. We have the final 4 events that we're waiting for. Technically, they've already happened for both government and religion, just not the true religion. See, the scriptures of the Jews talk about the government being corrupt, and that the Jews need a turnaround so that they get restored. And And so lots of different scriptures. Nebuchadnezzar's dream of the statue, and lots of prophecies of Isaiah, Jeremiah, and others talking about the need for the restoration of the original kingdom pre-Babylonian captivity, which was the Egyptian kingdom, not Jerusalem. And so the fall needs to happen for not just the government, but also for the Babylonian religion. The ancients, pre-Constantine, all had government and religion together as one. The Kaiser, the kings, the pharaohs were both government leader and religious leader. That's where the eyes of Horus from the Egyptians come in. Government, religion. It's the word for seer, PTR, in the learning of the Greeks, language of the Egyptians. Rosetta Stone. And so yes, Peter is seer in Egyptian, in the learning of the Greeks, language of the Egyptians. Jupiter, YAH, Peter. YAH is the Hebrew god. He is Zeus. Take off the us. Pictorially the same, because that's what Paleo-Hebrew was originally, before Babylon had their Semitic Hebrew tamper with it. So, the great and abominable church is a part of the government. But in the United States of America, where everything is getting fulfilled, sorry Jerusalem, it's America. The Jews who came to America looking to build the New Jerusalem in America were right. You were wrong. But good luck with Islam. Trump was supposed to nuke them. We're still waiting for that. But both the government of the United States is going to fall along with the great and abominable church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because they're not Jewish, duh. I mean, it just doesn't connect for Mormons. It doesn't connect. Jewish, therefore not Christian. Christian, bad. Jews, good. Hello? You, Mormon, Christian, bad. That's why you behave the way you do towards me. And so I mock you and taunt you, and then you just get angrier and you turn green and implode. Because you don't have gamma rays. You're not the Hulk. I'll just laugh at you when you get angry. Yeah. Memories of Nelson scowling at me. Every time he sees me, he scowls. What's up with that, Nelson? What's up with that? I was just as lost as you were, and you got help. I didn't. And you scowl at me? Bleep you. So, Trump, being a Nazi, bringing Nazi back again in America, make America Great Britain again, pre-Revolutionary War with the Declaration of Independence, decided to run again. I don't know why. The 14th Amendment, all right, SCOTUS. They overthrew the Constitution during Biden's presidency. So women are now sinners, criminals. Gotta lock them all up, force them to breed. Sperm refill. Sperm lives matter. Did you not like that? That's what you wanted. It's amazing to me how I tell these Mormons exactly what they want, and then they're angry that I told it. The Mormon men are the rapists. That's what they do. And they don't want to get punished for it. And so they blame the woman. It's what they do. And so I do a video to talk about it, and they're angry with me? Bleep you. Dear God. Dear God. And so yeah, that's the one thing, is that my childhood white supremacist Christian nationalist peers, they thought this was all funny. Yeah, raping women, murdering the gays, and those who come across the southern border from Mexico, and all the other abuses, overthrowing the government, tanking the economy, having Jesus evangelical Christianity reign supreme over everyone, and yet then you call them on it, and all of a sudden they just burst out in anger and want to fight to the death. But that's what you want, isn't it? You said so. You know, it's like the Nelson and Oaks. They think that women are sinners for getting raped. And so I do the sex crime videos. And then they're angry with me. I reveal their plot to coup the government and murder people. And I have to live here now? What? Can't you own it? They just don't get it. I tell them I was born and raised among white supremacist Christian nationalists. Do you not know I know? I know exactly how to trigger you. I know exactly how to expose you. When will you learn? Oh my God. Oh, right. The Curse of Joseph Smith. Got to get that up here on the screen. Gotta. Wrong side. Yep, I'm the one who's exposed AI. Yes, indeed. Yes, I did. Alright, so back to the final four. So, yeah, AI used for the first time in voting machines, as they tried to divert the attention away, saying, no, Elon Musk's AI, Skynet, was not used as a signal transfer into the voting machines. No, the voting machines already have the program within them. You don't need to hook it up to the internet. And this was the first time they used AI in the voting machines. And oh no, Dominion, who sued Fox and won. Oopsies, had problems this time, but shh, we're not going to tell if Fox won't. It's a good thing Trump won, otherwise Fox would have been all over that. Nonetheless, yeah, AI is a fraud. It is programmed for whatever the human programs it to do. And so regardless of 1 + 1 = 3 in synergy, it'll tell you 1 + 1 = cow. Because it's that stupid. The people programming it are mentally problemed. Trying to be sensitive, not using the psychological term of retardation. Dear God. So yes, November 5th, the government fell because of a tampered election. Oakes said he was going to rig it. Just like he rigged the 2020 election for Biden to win. That was all plotted and planned. It was a test run. Can we do it? And I'm going, what happened? The October surprise of Trump never happened. We all knew it was going to be Hunter Biden's laptop. And he went zip. Not going to tell you. And yet, sure enough, coup ensued. And they still stayed in office. They still ran for president again this year. America is in danger. And yet people just think that everything might work out? That democracy might reign supreme? You've never read your Constitution! We're not supposed to be a democracy! Constitutional republic! I saw the You Burnt guy the other day, and he says we're a constitutional democracy! No! 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 You got burnt! Only Desi is on top of this. She knows what's going on. As she fox-plains for us. So sure enough, she too saw what I saw. The art of the deal. Just all of the Democrats just forgot Trump wrote the art of the deal. Actually, it was the other guy who wrote it, and he warned us during the first term. But nonetheless, they've forgotten. They're all panicked. What do we do? He's throwing all this stuff at us, and some stuff are sticking, and other stuff we're able to slow down with lawsuits. And, oh no, why is he doing all this? Art of the deal. Read it. It's fundamental. So America fell for this election. Church wins. So the next stage is the transfer of authority. Yeah, January 20th. Duh. Then the Exodus. Yeah, same day. He did it the same day. But the Exodus is weird for this because Trump is the Pharaoh. And Pharaoh keeps saying, no, I will not let you go. But Trump says, get out. Yeah, deportations is his version of the Exodus. He's supposed to say, no, I love you all, stay. Let's all sing Kumbaya. YMCA. It's fun to stay in the US of A. Nope, he's kicking people out. That's how you know he's the enemy, the evil, the Pharaoh, the villain of the story. Because he's not doing the Exodus. He's going contrary. Hello? And so, the establishment of Zion. Yeah, for Trump, it's MAGA Nation. And that's what April 2nd was, Liberation Day. He's still working on it. It's still a work in progress. But it made the church a lot of money. I'm screaming at the Democrats who can't catch on to this until it was too late. Insider trading, shorting the stock, and then pumping up the stock to sell it off again. It's exactly what they, oh my God. I told you. Trump told you. So yeah, eventually Trump will get his way. The whole federal government will be destroyed. Every state will be independently run. They will do whatever they want to do. They have to be independent. No federal funding, because the federal government's destroyed under Trump. And so there's no need for Congress anymore. There's no need for SCOTUS. Trump will be in the position as emperor, and every single state in the union will have to pay tribute to him, as every state in the union will have to run themselves. And so you can't be a Democrat state. You have to be a MAGA state. If you are the enemy state, he's shutting off funding for you. He is leaving you to yourself, and you won't be able to trade with MAGA states. And so he's helping MAGA states. That's why Musk wants to move to Texas, because Texas is a MAGA state. They are not California, the Democrat state. And so, yeah, there will be civil war to suppress the Democrat states, because he's not going to let them go and let them live their own lives and run their own states the way they want to. Evangelical Christian nationalist white supremacists are frothing at the mouth to force it's a tongue twister, to force everybody to obey their living prophet of Jesus. All of the murders of sperm. If only they knew. For some reason, they think men only release one sperm. And if they're twins, 2. Or octuplets, 8. Until I found out that it was science. And so then they punished her. The Octomom, remember her? She had to turn to porn because she couldn't pay for anything after everybody shamed her. Dear God. I mean, seriously. So much abuse from these guys. They just hate humanity. Literally, guys. It is scary. All I want is Zion. And so the church, knowing this, and having Oaks write Project 2025 for the Project 2025 people who are in the secret combination with Steve Bannon. You didn't watch this morning's video, did you? Did you? Are all about this whole plot so that the church running the state of Utah will get their kingdom back to run the state of Utah exactly the way they want it to be run and have been warning us and threatening us and abusing us for. And I've been telling you all these years exactly what the church is up to. What they try to have Lee, who fails every time, and he's useless. Seriously. The news, either earlier this week or last week, said that Lee submitted another bill in Congress and haven't heard anything from it since. Because it's always to help the church. And Congress just, nah. Whereas Hatch, yeah, he was in charge. And so, yes, he got to help the church. But Lee, nah. But Section 119, it's been there right all along. Exactly what they're going to do when they get their kingdom back. When they take over control of Utah. Section 119, guys. Brigham Young, not Joseph. Verses 5 and 6. Verily I say unto you, it shall come to pass that all those who gather unto the land of Zion shall be tithed. There's not supposed to be a monetary system of economy. And oh, right, the Book of Mormon. They don't believe in the Book of Mormon. They turned it Christian. Of their surplus properties, and shall observe this law. Or they shall not be found worthy to abide among you. And I say unto you, in case you couldn't catch on in verse 5, if my people observe not this law to keep it holy, and by this law sanctify the land of Zion unto me, that my statutes and my judgments may be kept thereon, that it may be most holy. Behold, verily I say unto you, it shall not be a land of Zion unto you. Get out! The deportation Exodus. This is not the way it's supposed to happen. Pharaoh didn't get to keep his kingdom. The curse of Joseph Smith struck him down. But yes, either way, there will be an Exodus. Whether the curse of Joseph Smith or the church wins. Except that your Moses will be murdered by the church. Unless he can figure out a way to escape. So, the curse of Joseph Smith also applies. But I think we're not ready yet. We still have to finish the church's final form. And so, because Oaks got leaked, they are using Trump for their version of the religious final four. And so the fall, sure enough, the election and the inauguration of Trump, both for the fall. For the transfer of authority, that's a two-parter. One, getting governmental control over the state of Utah. Two, stealing the money. Must be the money. And so thus it's both January 20th and 2nd of April when it started. Even though Trump did the previous month tariff, that was a test run, and then postponed it for 1 month. Said, I'm not doing it April 1st. I'm superstitious. And so, April 2nd. And so the church was able to monopolize on this, preparing to puff up the stocks and then sell them all off. And so, even though Trump has backed off for 90 days now, he says, he's still got the 10% going on. He still also has the billion% for China. And so the stock market is weird at the moment as it finished off high again for Friday. After getting caught for puff and pull. Pump and pull, I guess that's what it's called. For that version. But nonetheless, don't think that businesses are going to lower the prices of anything. They didn't in 2020 when the church made all that money from the test run. The cost of orange juice never lowered. Not even under Biden. See, 2020 it was orange juice. The oranges of the investigation. You're welcome, Trump. This time it's eggs. And America has egg all over their face. Just like when Trump threw out the paper towels. Was it the Dominican Republic? We're not going to help you, but here's some paper towels. He threw in the paper towel. I was first to cover that. The news was slow on that one. Along with late night comedy. I beat you guys. I was first. Me. I was the one who triggered Trump to say oranges of the investigation. That was me. Me. All right, and so the Exodus, section 119, same, get out. But if that happens, nobody believes in me, nobody's following me, everybody hates me, they all wish I died. Mormons are in denial. But there's a problem with this, because not only is there the curse of Joseph Smith, that is the actual fall of the church, and the signs in the heavens of all Jewish prophecy that America is going to fall. That's the prophets' version of the final four. And so the church's establishment of Zion was supposed to be conference weekend. That's why, if you remember 2024's April General Conference, I was all prepping you that this was going to be it, and Nelson failed because the temple's not ready for Jesus to suddenly come to his temple prior to the day that shall burn as an oven. when he comes from the clouds of glory on the back of the white horse, with an angel standing in the sun. Revelation 19. They failed. And so not only did comedy ensue, I'm like, what the hell? What do we do now? Is it over? Did they quit? Is there no second coming, burning, and coup of governments? Is there no fall of the great and abominable church? What the hell? What good am I for then? I quit. Nope. They extended it to the election, and thus this year. And so it greatly disturbs me that Trump is wanting to again delay things for 90 days. Because for the last couple of weeks I'm going, what the hell? You know, he started all intense, and now lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit, and he's calming down. This is not art of the deal. But wait. His first term, when all this happened, he was doing stuff in secret. Do you think he's not going to do it this time around? Did you think he learned his lesson? He would not cross that line again. Really? You're that smart? Or that's stupid. Yeah, no, he's doing something that we don't know about. You know, Mr. Bill went to Washington. Come on. It was right there. Mr. Mayor goes to Washington. Come on. Mar, I guess. Gotta pronounce it right. It's Mr. Bill goes to Washington. Bill. I saw the title and I went, no, Mr. Bill. Oh no, Mr. Bill. I'm sure none of you kids who's not watching knows about Mr. Bill. Only the elderly knows about Mr. Bill, right? Let's go on to the internet and go over the origins and history of Mr. Bill. I never watched Mr. Bill. I only knew about it from my born-again, white supremacist, Christian nationalist peers. Oh, God, Google, you suck. Oh no, Mr. Bill. Mr. Bill, Wikipedia. Even he has his own Wikipedia page. Saturday Night Live, 1974. Mr. Bill is a clay figurine star of parody of children's entertainment created by Walter Williams in 1974. The Mr. Bill Show got its start on Saturday Night Live as a series of Super 8 films sent in response to the show's request for home movies during the first season. Mr. Bill's first appearance occurred on the February 28th, 1976 episode after 5 submitted films. Williams became a full-time writer for the show in 1978 and wrote more than 20 sketches based on Mr. Bill. Each Mr. Bill episode started innocently but quickly turned dangerous for Mr. Bill and his dog Spot. He would suffer various indignities inflicted by Mr. Hands. That's why Mason did it. Unbelievable. We get to talk about the pickle comics that I wrote. We moved from Placentia, California to Corona, California in my 8th grade year, and went to Auburn Jail Junior High School, and then went to Norco High to start off high school in 9th grade. And in 9th grade, well, in 8th grade, I had as peers Mason, Wooldridge, and what's the other guy's name? Mason. No, that. Oh my God, forgetting the other guy's name at the moment. The other guy would eventually help me record a WrestleMania on cable with VHS tapes. It required 2, apparently. Not sure why, but it was supposed to be a 2-hour thing. I guess it was 4 hours, but nonetheless, I no longer have that WrestleMania. I think it was with Hulk Hogan back in those days. It was the WWF back then too. But Mason, I saw him drawing comics, and he said, oh, I'm a member of the Triple SGK. The Super Secret Society for Gumby Killers. And he said, if you want to get into the club, you've got to draw a cartoon showing a unique way to kill Gumby. And in case you don't know who Gumby is, he was on Sunday mornings with Gumby and Opie. Another claymation. I, at that time, had no clue what Gumby had done to deserve such violence. But learning about Mr. Bill, I know exactly why now. So, then in high school, in one of my classes, I had to do a report paper, and I had just seen the Saturday afternoon movie with, oh my God, Clint Eastwood. Oh my God. The jail, the prison. Oh my God. Those moments of forgetfulness when I know exactly what it is. Escape from Alcatraz. Thanks to associative memory to bring it back. And so I was going to do it on the prison and all that. But the only research I could find was about Native Americans living on the island before they were booted off for the prison. And so I said, all right, fine, I've got more than enough information about the Indians, and so I did it about the Indians on the island. And apparently, I guess everybody thought that that was the most awesomest thing in the universe. All right, whatever. And I took first place at my school. And so I then went to regionals in Riverside, California, not Riverton, Utah. And so other people, other kids from the school all went up together. And I got kind of pissed because for some reason my mom thought it would be a great idea to assist as a parent babysitter. And rebellion ensued. But nonetheless, and so we all took the bus to get there and had to walk, and there was a big building place, I have no idea where. And so there was time while the judges went all around to the thousands of people who submitted stuff. And so during that time, Mason, myself, and some others, almost had his name. I'm gonna go, oh my God, I know his name, and oh my God. But we went walking into the town where the stores were, and there was one gift shop type store that had all of these little odds and ends, and there was a staircase that led to a room that obviously was built in the store, and we were all curious and wanted to go check it out. And so we went up the stairs, and as we got to the door opened, and an older man came out and saw us and said, "Don't go in there, you'll go blind." What? What do you mean we'll go blind? We need to see now. What's this all about? We have to know. Vintage postcards. Pinups. It was awesome. I don't know about blindness, but nonetheless. And so then we had to have lunch. And so this time we went to the same restaurant as a group of girls did. And one of the girls in the group was one that I had a secret crush on. Never acted on it. I'm shy. Nonetheless, I had her for at least one class. And Mason is fooling around with his food and his pickle. He doesn't like pickles, I guess. He didn't like it, and he was pissed that they put a pickle in his hamburger. And so it flung out and hit her in the back of the head. And of course everybody's laughing at her, and except for me. And she's mortified, and so thus she gets angry to try to handle the situation. And so, having a crush on her, I then went home and got the inspiration for pickle comics. There was a pickle and a duck and a raccoon or something like that. And I began writing pickle comics. The Adventures of Pickle. So, I was into cartooning in high school. Swigheimer took all of his art classes. So, comics ensued. So, anyway, back to the end of the world. We're all gonna die. No Zion for any of us. Come back never. Next resurrection. The apocalypse Nazi. So, April 6, 2025 was the spiritual fall of Nelson. We're still kind of waiting for the fall of Trump. We're not really seeing it because everybody let him in. But yeah, the church, yeah, because Trump isn't doing it, the church fails. And so Nelson humiliated himself at conference by no longer saying "in the coming day." This time he said very clearly so that everybody understood when they get back from conference a month from now, 3 more weeks now actually. Nelson said he doesn't know the day and the hour. Oh, some guy named Travis already knew. He's not faith promoting. Bastards all. Dear God. I'm always right, and Mormons just say, no, I don't care. Church is true. And so we're still waiting for a physical fall. So yeah, yesterday was a version of a physical fall, but it's not the fall. The church isn't canceled. Church isn't dissolved. Church isn't destroyed. It was just humiliated again. So yes, the lawsuit loss is a fall. The church doesn't get their money from the insurance company. They're unable to steal that money. And so yeah, they will sue again, appeal it to get that money back. They're trying to get as much money as they can for their kingdom. They are not willing to wait until they get their kingdom to dissolve the insurance companies and take all their money. Because the federal government will be destroyed. The state government will be dissolved and merged into the church. They will be the judges. No more federal judge, no more state judge, no more local judges. They'll now be your bishops and stake presidents. Are you sure you want Zion here in Utah, huh? Dear God. And so that's their kingdom. That's coming in a coming day, though delayed. Thanks to Trump failing. But the scriptures say, no, the government and the religion collapse. Utter destruction. As those who come with me to Zion will be the only ones left alive. After all of the years-long battles of civil war and world wars with shiz and coriantumr. So place your bets now as to which nations shiz will be from and which nation coriantumr will be from. And then who will win between the two? Either one denied coming into Zion, by the way. It is very clear from scriptures. See, what the government and the church are doing is what's called self-fulfilling prophecy. They created the interpretation of scripture. And so, to prove their interpretation is true, they have to make it happen. Because Jesus isn't real. So Trump, I've been mocking, is Jesus. Everything that this church has made a claim for the second coming, Trump has been doing. That's why Nelson had to say it the way he said it, so that you didn't catch on yet that Trump is Jesus. And Jesus failed. Again. And yet, Desi, I need to use that picture for this video. Please tell me I moved it into this file. Yep, there it is. There's our thumbnail picture. The second coming of Donald Jesus Trump. As he's walking in the water. Just hilarious. Hilarious. Okay? And so, part of this real scriptural fall of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the great and abominable Church of Jesus Christ, the arch enemies of the Jews from Constantine. They stole the Jewish religion. They stole the Jewish scriptures. They reinterpreted the scriptures. Turned it all literal history, so they're revisionist historians. Rewriting history. That's all in that first creed and what it did. And so now Jesus is the Christ, rather than Emmanuel. In the latter days, with the day and the hour, the 23rd of September, 2017. Oh no, the Jews could be wrong. It already happened. Where is this Jewish Christ? I mean, yeah, sure, Jesus hasn't shown, but no man knows. But the Jews gave a date. We now know. Where is he, that we may murder him? Oh my hell. They murdered Joseph. What did you think they were going to do to the real Jewish Christ? And so, yes, Brigham Young paid the Judas price with his secret combination economy of Section 119 for his Danites. He started it in 1842 when Joseph announced that he wanted to build a Nauvoo temple. And so, these Danites, who caused the problem in Missouri and didn't get busted yet, because they didn't get found as to who they were, under Brigham Young began this, what would become Section 119, when Joseph was assassinated. Brigham Young put it in his first edition of the Doctrine and Covenants. And so the Danites were having to pay Brigham Young under the guise of paying for the building of the Nauvoo temple. And so they had to also pay for the Nauvoo temple through the legitimate means as well. And Brigham Young was so stupid, he kept a ledger of those Danites who paid. Even framed a few people through this. And so he knew about the letter to W.W. Phelps, which became Section 85, which didn't get put in until the last year before he died. And so he knew about this previously, whether it's another document or sermon by Joseph that we just don't have in the Joseph Smith papers, or what. That was talking about the book of the law. And so Brigham Young turned that ledger of criminal operations, it's a secret combination, into the book of the law in January 1846, as he had it published and posed with it in the Holy of Holies of the Nauvoo Temple before it was dedicated. That's the painting that I've shown you of Brigham Young in the Holy of Holies with his new edition of the Doctrine and Covenants of 1844, as well as the Book of the Law, which is the ledger of the Danites who were loyal to him and not Joseph. Al Capone, tax evasion, simple. Don't keep records. Don't have a ledger. Unbelievable. And Nelson thought he would prove Section 119 is true and avoid talking about Section 85 by rushing it out before Thanksgiving in that infamous 2023. And then bye-bye, Ballard. Bye-bye. 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 What date did you die? It had to have been December. Let's see. Did I put it in this file here? No. So maybe it is back over here with the new ones. Ballard, there, 12th November. It was before. It was already bye-byed before, and so then they rushed it out for Thanksgiving, which was 9/11 in the Jewish calendar. And I spent, oh my God, all Thanksgiving doing a 6-hour video series wearing the white shirt, standing at the bedside. It was actually red shirt, standing at the bedside with my feet not touching the floor. Come on. And so, oh dear God. Yeah, back in 2017, I began working on the death of Joseph Smith in Carthage jail. And that's what happened, is I went, oh crap, and I had to go all the way back to the beginning with Joseph Smith Sr. and Lucy Mack and their little family there in Vermont, and then went forward from there. Because otherwise I can go back for all eternity and would take me further away from figuring out what actually happened in real church history. And so no, I didn't trust other people's publications. I didn't trust people's journals. That is not primary source documents. I did the original research myself and took notes and published those notes, and then did a narrative of the notes and published that, and got to only 1829, where I then did videos for you on the other information I was learning, even additional information previous to that time that need to be updated in any publication that I would do in the future. And so those who have been following would be rewarded with truth. Unfortunately, there's only one who's been around that long. The majority of the handful, 5, come from 2021 at the earliest. I don't know if any of them are pre-2020. Only the one. But nonetheless. And so, typically I did not do these long videos for you. See, this year, knowing that this would be it, I decided to make a change. That I'm not going to do fluff pieces about how Nelson is wrong and not following the scriptures, or other doctrinal issues that Mormons are getting wrong. I am focusing solely on the final 4, so that your minds will be prepared if you simply but believe and follow. And so yes, there's a lot more information for these final videos. And because of the curse of Joseph Smith, if the enemy is intending on going beyond this month, that they failed and they're going to drag it on, I have to quit. I can't keep doing this, especially since I only have a handful of people following who believe. If the church does not fall, if the nation does not fall, if the world governments do not fall, descending into war, then there is no need for me. I am only needed to save. You know, Jesus. YAH saves. And so, yeah, eventually, 5 years from now, when they decide to finally do it, yeah, I'm too old. Bleep you all. Utter destruction. Nobody believes, and nothing I do switching it up on presentation is working. Mormons have made up their minds they are not going to change. They are all set, ready for the burning, ripe for destruction, past feeling. And it's ironic that the scriptures talk about being past feeling, and yet Mormons are past feeling because of their feelings, spiritual witness feelings. It's amazing. Irony. And so Brigham Young had Joseph Smith murdered on the 27th of June, 1844, thanks to the Nauvoo expositor. That the people in that meeting got Joseph framed and blamed. He was not in that meeting, and everybody assumes he was. Nobody checked the minutes of the meeting. Oh, Joseph's not there. Oh, they're acting on behalf of Joseph. Oh. Nonetheless, Joseph, while running for president, no longer gets to be Abraham Lincoln. He now gets to be assassinated in Carthage jail. Abraham Lincoln would then be the assassinated president of the government. Civil War. These are the patterns of the enemy. They've been among us all this time. That's why I put in the Danite video, the Washington, D.C. street map. So on the June 27th, 1844 death, you had a solar eclipse that happened 11 days before, on June 16th, 1844, which is a partial eclipse. On 31st of May, which is within 30 days, you have a total lunar eclipse. And so Deuteronomy 19:19 kicks in, which is the law of Purim. Because Joseph was falsely accused, and the punishment for the false accusation was assassination. Therefore, some higher power, not me. I wasn't born during these times. I didn't assassinate Brigham Young, John Taylor, Wilford Woodruff, Lorenzo Snow, Joseph Fielding Smith Sr., Heber J. Grant, George Elbert Smith, David O. McKay, Joseph Fielding Smith Jr., Harold B. Lee, Spencer W. Kimball, Ezra Taft Benson, Howard W. Hunter, Gordon B. Hinckley, Thomas S. Monson. Even though I was just a baby under Joseph Fielding Smith Jr., with signs in the heavens, he wanted to murder me as a baby. Likewise, Thomas S. Monson, who wanted to murder me on the 23rd of September 2017, as well as 2008. Bye-bye, Monson. Bye-bye. Massive. Awesome. Don't mess with me. They never learn. Anyway, it wasn't me. I don't do anything. I just preach from the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith, and Mormons are upset and don't believe it. And so, yes, the law of Purim from Deuteronomy 19:19, that which the false accuser accuses, and the punishment would be affixed, is the punishment which the false accuser is supposed to experience. And so Joseph Smith is the leader of the church. Brigham Young murdered him, usurped it, changed it. The abomination of desolation, literally, from when the Greeks did it to the Jews in the Jerusalem temple. Brigham did it to Joseph. And so yes, the punishment given to Joseph Smith is the punishment for Brigham Young as the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Deseret. Thank you, Stanford. And every single president since Brigham, claiming they're the true successors of Joseph, framing and blaming the United States government. That's why they're wanting their kingdom back, because they're claiming the United States took it away. False accusers. And so thus they will fall. And they have fallen, every single president, in the exact same manner of Joseph Smith, with a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. Brigham Young had double solar eclipses. On the 9th of August, 1877, and September 7th, 1877. And then a total, a lunar, on the 23rd of August, 1877. All within his death date. And then I ran the test for John Taylor. Yep. Ran the test for Wilford Woodruff. He had double for both. So it's hilarious to read his official declaration, number 1, verse 11. We should read that for you. Come on, work. I'm having mouse problems. It shouldn't be out of battery juice. God. It has to be a cyber terrorist attack that they're not shutting down my camera for. They're instead tampering with my mouse. The Lord will never permit me or any other man who stands as president, didn't exist. They were dissolved, of this church to lead you astray. It's not in the program. It's not in the mind of God. If I were to attempt that, he did, the Lord would remove me out of my place. He did. Sun shall be darkened, moon turned to blood. Bye-bye. Mormons now know you were false. You were leading them astray. It's just you've been deceiving them to not know about this. And you were only the third one. Which barely created a pattern. And so he will any other man who attempts to lead the children of men astray from the oracles of God and from their duty. Yep. The curse of Joseph Smith. And Mormons don't believe it when I do these videos. I've done this. We're waiting for Nelson. Nelson is a part of this. But if the end of the month comes and goes and Nelson is still kicking, it fails. I cannot justify extending it for Nelson. This is it. You know, and if he dies the next day, I'm going to be pissed. He fails to fit the time frame and then dies the very next day. What the hell? No, we're not counting that, despite Nelson being the scriptural fulfillment of all Jewish prophecy of the enemy, the false prophet. Despite all that he has done to fulfill it, it would all be in vain. This is where my frustration is. Likewise, the Jewish Christ, he showed on the 23rd of September 2017. The Jews were right. Joseph Smith was right. He's here. And yet, despite everything being fulfilled, all of the dates happening, even some extra fun stuff, all in vain. If this can't work, if no fall happens, if no transfer of authority happens, I can't do the Exodus. It has to happen. They've made sure nobody knows me, nobody follows me. So Denver Snuffer has about 3,000 followers. He doesn't want to be the leader, but he has them. The guy in Idaho, the stake president, or somebody out in Idaho, was able to take down several stakes or something like that, causing Ballard and Oaks to go up and condemn them. Is it Mormon Stories podcast for John Dehlin? How many followers does he have? Yeah, John Dehlin. He has 280,000 subscribers. 280,000. Now, granted, having also a channel on YouTube, I'm well aware I don't have the 1.5K subscribers. They're all ghost subscribers. I only have 5. If you are a subscriber and you're not among the 5, and you know who you are because you're commenting, why aren't you commenting? Why aren't you saying, hey Travis, I'm here? That's all you have to do. No big deal. And yet, where are you guys? Where are you watching my videos? You're not watching. What the hell? 1.5K, and I can't get 1.5K per week in views? What's going on? And so I don't know if that is actually 280K. I mean, we can look at, see how many views. Well, the one he did 10 months ago, he's got 113K. John Dehlin explains Joseph Smith. God. Wrong. Here's Joseph Smith's polygamy. Wrong. 3 weeks ago, 30K. Raised in the 2x2 cults. 3 days ago, 51K. Rick Bennett interviews John Dehlin. 48K. And so, yeah, here's 81K, 5 years ago. The excommunication of John Dehlin, Part 1. Bishop James Stevenson, Antichrist Korihor. And here's Cults to Consciousness. John Dehlin answers. Everything I've always wanted to ask ex-Mormon John Dehlin answered, featured at Mormon Stories. So were you his fling at the time? You do know about his scandals of sex? Does anybody remember? No, you don't. It was before 2021. And so, yeah, he's getting over 50K per video. You know, here's one from 8 days ago. Caitlin Whitaker, a Mormon church employee, speaks out. I hate it when the news does that. Speaks out, responds. Stop it! That's not news! The secret membership committee? Strengthening you? 8 days ago? Did I get you out of it? Were you stalking me? Are you my stalker? I have to know. She confessed her sins to her bishop. What? Oh my God. Because in case you didn't know, the Strengthening Church Members Committee are the ones who were stalking me. It's supposed to be the members of the 70, so what the hell are you doing in the committee? I'm calling BS right here and now. It's a priesthood calling, not for women. Anyway, moving on. He's got people who follow. I don't know or care how many people like his videos, but clearly he's able to draw in even a Mormon audience. I have Mormons condemning me for condemning John DeLynn as a psychologist. Did you watch that little video clip about the church losing the insurance lawsuit? Oh my God, I knew that the church was doing all that, but to have their own video expose it. You naughty women getting raped. Here's some drugs. Oh my God. See, I am just not popular. Nobody knows or cares who I am. They're not going to run the test. They don't care that Joseph Fielding Smith Jr., the grandson of Hiram, became the president right before the fulfillment of my actual birth, with the star in the east. The false prophet who knows and fears of my coming, and have been making sure that you don't know about it, to cover up and hide church history so that you don't know about the one mighty and strong. His father did a whole first presidency statement on the one mighty and strong. It was a booklet. And his conclusion was, I have no idea who this guy is. But I'm the leader of the church. Obey me. And so his son knows about it. And his son is put in January 23rd. Right before the March 7th sign in the east. And then my birth 10 days later. And then he dies. Total solar eclipse and a partial lunar within the time frame. And so yes, Monson twice sentenced me to death. And then boom, don't mess with me. He gets his birthday for the first day of darkness. That counts. Even though it's out of the range. Because it's his birthday on that first day to start the latter days. That goes all the way back to the Egyptians. The oldest document, the pyramid text, talks about the characters involved in this date, time, event. And that was almost 4,000 BCE, which means this was known way before. Thus, the Heliopolis creation story that I've been going over with you, not just Nut and Geb, but their children. Osiris, Set, murders his brother. You need to pay attention to me. As much as it is complicated, as much as I'm expecting you to know prerequisite videos, even though I put out a prerequisite video playlist so that you can try to get caught up, despite the 8.6K plus videos that you will never get caught up on now. I mean, literally, you'd have to spend the rest of your life listening to my videos. And I don't know how long it would take. Years. And so then also August 7th, which corresponds with that first day of darkness, leading up to the 23rd of September 2017. Ta-da! The start of my ministry in Judah, Utah, phonetically the same. Prophecy fulfilled, Mormons. The Jewish Christ, a Mormon. Yep, fulfilled. And you don't believe. You're waiting for Jesus, who's never going to show. He's taking a piss. Just so sick and wrong. But his actual death on Revelation chapter 12, verse 4, stars falling from the tail of Draco the dragon. Had the February 15th, 2018, which I counted only because that night was a supermoon, which was so super it was 2 days. And the super blood blue wolf total lunar eclipse on the 31st, which is within the time frame. It was massive because Monson is responsible, not just his minions below who also had to be in full agreement with him, to order my execution and paid the Judas price. I've got the receipt still. He was struck down hard. And it wasn't me. It was the curse of Joseph Smith, the law of Purim. And here we go. Passover week begins at 6 p.m. when I may get it finally uploaded onto a And so yes, this is why I'm telling you. Because of the Purim lunar eclipse last month. With I am that I am on 3/14. Fulfilled. Which was the Freemason who wrote the translation of the Bible, the King James Version. Because it wasn't previous. But nonetheless, and then the solar eclipse at the end of the month of March, right before, it was the end of the Jewish month and the end of the Jewish year. I can't go beyond 1 month. I can't go 7 months. it won't count. Even though it would take us into tabernacles. But that's every single year. Passover, tabernacles. Passover, tabernacles. Day of Atonement, when Scott died, every single year. It's repeated. I can't keep going because the latter days ended last year. 8 April 2024. That was it. The third day of darkness over the United States of America. That's why I wanted to quit. If nothing's going to happen, why am I still doing videos? I can unplug myself from the internet and just play my game all day. They would never leave me alone. They won't let me go. I know that this is going to happen. When the end comes and nobody's fallen, I will not be left alone, even if I stop and quit doing videos. The Mormon YouTube employee won't let me stop. Even a woman in the Strengthening Church Members Committee, 70s. 8 days ago, though. No, that was... because they still did it over conference. But that was the Mormon employee for YouTube. So maybe she realized the church isn't true and she's not going to tell John Dehlin that it was me that... Come on. Hello, help me out here. I mean, maybe John Dehlin edited all the parts about me that you confessed about. Possible. He doesn't like me. I called him a psychologist. Oh no, he is. Still, I don't get it. Own it. You're a psychologist. You're a fraud. You use fallacy arguments. You don't use science. You don't use logic. Own it. Don't get mad at me. Victims of rape go to family services. Psychologists. Here's some drugs. Keep coming and talking to us about it. Jesus can heal you of your sin. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why, Mormons? Why? And so, yes, this has to be the month. This has to be the week. Because all prophecies are talking about it. All Jewish authors are talking about it. Regardless of your abomination of turning them Christian. Because of the law of the Jews. Deuteronomy 18, verse 15. The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee of thy brethren, like unto Moses. Moses comes from the Exodus story, where the Jewish author of the Exodus book talks about Passover. This is why the Jews have the holy day of Passover. They put it in this month because the text of the Jewish author says it's in this time period. This is it. Otherwise, the Bible is false. The Book of Mormon, false. Joseph Smith, false. Everything's in vain. Submit to Trump and die. That's what we're facing here. This is how crucial this is. The fate of the scriptures are at stake. See, that's why Nelson said, No man knows the day or the hour Jesus is coming. It can happen anytime. I don't know. He's safe, but exposes himself as false because he won't give the date. And as I told you, the dates have all happened. The prophecies have all happened except for the final four for the prophecies. Do you not understand why I'm so freaked out? And I can't do anything. I can see something and say something. It does no good. Pharaoh says no. Prophecy fulfilled. Mormons won't believe. Prophecy fulfilled. I am completely helpless until the fall and the transfer of authority. There's nothing I can do. And so, yes, I'm aware of Nephi causing the fall of Laban for his false accusation by chopping off his head and then getting the transfer of authority of the brass plates from the storehouse of the temple. But it's not literal. I am not supposed to get a sword, sneak in to the church administration building, chop off Nelson's head, which has to be all 15. And because of my letter to the 70 presidency in 2017, they now think they can take over the church if the 12 can't do it. And plus the presiding bishopric. All the administration have to go, ceasing to exist, dissolved. However the fall is to take place has to happen. And then somebody has to transfer it to me. I can't go onto the computer and replace Nelson with me and change the pictures of the administration chart. Oh, Travis is now the head of the church. Okay. Go in, hack the bank accounts, transfer it all to me. I can't do any of that. Not just because I shouldn't do it, but I can't. I don't know how. I'm not a hacker terrorist like the YouTube Mormon employee is. Oh my God. And so yes, if there would be a time where all of a sudden I go to my account and I see $16 quadrillion from the government and the church, I know it wasn't me who did it. Somebody's framing me. I'm about to be arrested. I need to run. There is no way out of that. I am unable to cause the fall and the transfer. But I've got the Exodus all ready to go. I brought it out of the box even. And for what? Delays. Pissing me off. So yes, Nelson has until the 28th of April. 29th comes around, nope, failed. Curse of Joseph Smith ended with Monson. And so I won't know what the hell happened until Nelson finally dies. then I can try to see if there was something I missed. But I'm still searching and going over it over and over again, trying to see when, how, is it really going to be extended? I don't know. It can't be. It shouldn't be. The fall is now. So, now we'll take a station identification break, as we're at 2 hours almost. And we'll go over all of the scriptures concerning the latter-day Passover event, including Passion Week of Christians who got it wrong, and even Islam, who have Joseph Smith as enemy number 1, and me as enemy number 2. But they don't know. Shh! Brigham Young kept it a secret from them. Alright, so those of you who've been watching this year, actually started in December, didn't it? I've been doing Jewish calendar months for you. And when the day neared, or on the day of, or days previous, I would do the video to explain it in more detail, as I would start off the month giving a generalized overview of the month for you. And I did that again for this month. And I was doing it with the different days that we come up with. And then I had made a list of the different ones to talk about for the special Passion Week video, because that's a whole separate thing. The calendar that I made, as you've seen, if you've been following, includes 2 pages of all the other stuff, and then I separated out and made a 3rd page for just the Exodus, the Passion, or the Passover week, and all of the events involving Passover. And so, because of the overwhelmingness of this and how I'm behind, as yesterday was Haman's Jewish extermination order, I just threw in the calendar in the video yesterday and highlighted the 11th, if you noticed. This work is too overwhelming for just me to do this all by myself, as I've had to do all these latter days. And so what I'm doing today is a whole big Passover video for you. The 2-hour introduction, and now we're going over all scriptures about it, including Passover week itself in its context, so that I can take the rest of the week off, quit and retire, and if it falls, it falls. If it doesn't, bleep you all. I'm out of here. Unbelievable. Everything has happened, everything fulfilled, except for the final 4. And it's so close. We had Nelson confessing, and then yesterday the church lost the lawsuit. We're so close. Shelby, where are you? What the hell? Shelby! So, the first thing we get to talk about is the sign in the heavens for today, and it's really cool. And so, yeah, it's this evening when it appears in our sky, because it's a full moon. Can't have the sun up anywhere. Has to be during the nighttime. And so after 6 o'clock for the start of Jewish Passover, we will then begin seeing it after. It's likely that it will be later in the evening. But this is, as I've been showing you, the pink full moon for April. And it is the start of Passover. And I've done the check, and I did the video for you some time ago, earlier this month. I don't know how many days ago, about the cool phenomenon of going over probably didn't write it in here because of, yeah, I had done some research to find out if the moon, and I knew it wasn't, but I was curious to see which full moon was at where the full moon was at the start of Passover. And the sun, I noticed, was passing over the two fishes in Pisces. And so I checked to see, does the sun pass over Pisces every year when the moon is full for the start of Passover? No. 2025, 2022, and 2020. 2020. How many times do I need to repeat that before you catch on? Oaks got leaked. 2020 was a test run. 2020 was the Exodus year. I did everything. What the hell happened? Oaks said it was a test run for now. And so yes, this year also. Not last year, this year. This year it's happening again. Because Oaks said so. And sure enough, Oaks doesn't know anything about any of this. He doesn't care. Nelson definitely doesn't. He thinks Israel means let God prevail. They don't give a damn about any of this stuff. But it happens according to the likeness of things on the earth. Joseph Smith translation, Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. Signs in the heavens and the likeness of things on the earth. That is the learning of the Jews from the Book of Mormon. And that date in 1 Nephi chapter 1, verses 8 through 10, which is verse 4, that first year, is 23rd September 2017. From Revelation, from Isaiah, from Matthew, from everyone. The dates have happened. The Jewish Christ is here. Jesus isn't. And so, on the back of the white horse, and so yes, Emmanuel is the man like Moses who parts the waters and comes through on dry ground. Passover, the sun, Emmanuel, Amen El, God Amen, sun god at noonday of the Egyptians. The sun is passing over the waters, parting the waters of the two fish, passing through on dry ground. Passover, sign in the heavens. This is it. If it fails, I quit. I've done my part. I'm ready to do my part. The fall has to happen. The transfer to me must happen, or this is all in vain. And it going back in the books or I'm burning it. All that while being locked up to be murdered by Monson for 6 years of my life. After having received the Hinckley dream, every inspiration on how to build, design, and run Zion. All in vain? I got out in 2014. Oh! The sun shall be darkened, moon turned to blood, stars fall from heaven, bye-bye Perry Packer Scott. All in vain? So I need to write some of this stuff down. I need to put second coming Trump pick. Slide show 2025 Passover in heaven. So I don't leave anything out for this video, because otherwise I will. I'm even uploading right as we are doing this second half, so that we can try to save time to get it all finished and ready to go as soon as possible. Because otherwise I have to wait for that one to upload, and then after recording this. So yeah, it'd be way too long beyond what's already too long. So we're trying to speed it up for you to get it done before Passover tonight. Which at 1 o'clock, even if I go for an hour, we could get it done before 6 p.m. up and loaded. We'll see. And then, all right, I did a close-up of Virgo and the Passover moon, so we need to make that picture. The Virgo moon with Passover moon. Pick. And this will most likely be the thumbnail picture, even though Second Coming of Trump was pretty hilarious, Desi. Pretty hilarious. And so this is why it is awesome. Not only is the sun passing over the parted waters of Pisces, but the moon, and the moon is not always in the same location every single year for the start of Passover. Both the sun and the moon together are in harmony this year. Not in 2024, but at least the sun was passing over that year. The moon, great googly moogly, is there at the birth star, Bethlehem. That's why this is going to be such a letdown if this is a failure. For my birth as a baby, for the 23rd of September 2017, we had Jupiter. But for the moon, representing religion, it's here, religion, to be right there with Spica, Bethlehem. And I did the video for you. Almond was born in Bethlehem. They're in Egypt. It's in the spelling of the name, in Egyptian. House of bread. As even the falling stars of the virginids, the beta virginids, are right there at the womb as well. They are not at their peak, but they are there. With the moon for religion. Do I need to go over Ballard's death and the sign in the heavens for that? Over the state of Utah. On the crown of Virgo. Or it was actually his shoulders, wasn't it? You do not want to mess with him, Mormons. You still do. Just like Nelson teaches you to. Because he does. Dear God. All of these pattern matching. Fulfillment of prophecies, fulfillment of scriptures, fulfillment of dates. And you're still denialists. Still refusing. You're not going to be deceived. You'll show me. God. Right there. Full moon. Right there. Just as all the solar eclipses. Right where they were supposed to be. And for this to just be a failure, oh my hell. I quit. So yes, like I said, because government and religion are split in America, the signs in the heavens are also split. There are multiple interpretations for translation of the signs in the heavens for the likeness of things on the earth. One is for Trump. Trump is Mercury, and he's at war right now on the back of the white horse. The White House. And so, is Pam Bondi Venus on the back of the white horse? Or is she the moon having an abortion with the falling stars? Or is it the other woman who does dress up for all of her shows? Armageddon Barbie. Prepper Barbie. Ice Barbie. Oh dear God. And so for conference, you'll notice I did the video before conference about the moon being with Mars on the shoulders. So sure enough, Nelson ran conference. He's not dead yet. The government of the church was still on his shoulders for conference. Prophecy fulfilled. But now, the moon has left him. They're not standing for this abuse anymore. And so Nelson says, no man knows the day or the hour. And so he's now heading towards the tail of the crab, which corresponds as the serpent, even though it's a crustacean, not a serpentine. it is used in similar stories of the Greeks and others to tell the similar story of the attack of the hero of the stories. And so the fall, in the same manner in which he is falsely accused, the curse of Joseph Smith, and there he is at the tail of the serpent, the crab, the hind legs. And so yes, the scriptures with signs in the heavens are telling us Nelson is dying for Passover, despite him showing up, final session, got out of bed, was in a wheelchair, spoke from his chair. He's prophesied to die. The fall must happen. Do I need to read the scripture? We're not. Everything must happen. Everything must be fulfilled. And it's actually the one that tells you that Revelation is actually time, day and hour. Mormon chapter 8. So I want to hurry up and finish. I haven't eaten yet. I'm hungry. Mormon 8:33. Look unto the Book of Mormon, the revelations of God. For behold, the time cometh at that day when all these words, prophecies, must be fulfilled. Must be fulfilled. Time, day, words, prophecies. Because in Hebrew, word, dabar, is mistakenly translated as things. So when you go to Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1, now faith is the substance of things hoped for. No, if this was an actual Hebrew document, the word would be dabar, and it should be translated as words. Now faith is the substance of words hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. But by their fruits ye shall know the word. Real easy to fix. Nobody does it. So the Book of Mormon, by telling you Revelation is the day and the hour, not inspiration, is making this very clear for you. Right? So, yeah, this is just going to be awesomely incredible. And so, yes, I am Jupiter, the man-child of Revelation chapter 12. Jupiter. That's why Joseph Smith says that Nephi, who appears in the second vision, has his countenance not just of Ammon, the sun god at noonday, but also like lightning. Lightning is a symbol of Jupiter. Don't you know about Joseph Smith and his Jupiter stone? Don't you know about the Holiness to the Lord parchment with Jupiter's symbol on it? Yeah, it's not witchcraft. It's Jewish Kabbalah. Time, day, and hour. Using the signs in the heavens. Jupiter. They know. That's why verse 5 was moved to verse 3 in the Joseph Smith translation of Revelation chapter 12. They know. That's why it's at the beginning of the Book of Mormon, the start of the latter days. They know. They're right. It happened. It was fulfilled. It must be fulfilled. It was. Despite all the cyber terrorism that began. They cannot restore the damage. And so there I am, on the head of Taurus, the bull, between the horns. I am now moving out. I have finished my retrograding. It's time to go. Just like last year. It was time to go, and sure enough, boom, prophecy fulfilled. Revelation 19, 11, and 17. The Lamb has come, Mormons. This is it. And so, yes, the Apis bull of the Egyptians is symbolic for the transfer from the father to the son to become the king. The king is made king as the prince. Prince becomes the king. King dies, prince takes over. That's why Israel is real simple to translate. Yah, Prince of God. Through him will come the king. Duh! Oh my hell. And so, yes, in the 2000s, every morning when I go running, I would see Orion. And I would not see very well that one lower left star. And so the main three, not just Orion's belt, would be obviously visible. And I go, that looks like a shofar horn. A shofar horn. And so when I saw the moon between them, I would check to see if there's a religious message that would come out on that day. Didn't have the internet back then, but I'd always thought of it that way, that planets who are between the horns are blowing their message. When Mercury is there, oh my God, a message from the messenger himself. And so here, Jupiter, your Christ, Mormons. I told you this all this time. When the Exodus happens, when I am allowed to do it, the fall has happened, the transfer of authority has happened, I can then put this into implementation and get it going. And so I've told you, section 133 is the call that I will then make. Hearken, O ye people of my church. Pretty clear as to who he's talking to here. Saith your Lord your God, and hear the word of the Lord concerning you. The Lord who shall suddenly come to his temple. The Lord who shall come down upon the world with a curse to judgment. Yea, upon all nations that forget God, the Jewish God, not Jesus. And upon all the ungodly among you. For he shall make bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the Jesus of their God. Salvation. Wherefore, prepare ye, O my people. Sanctify yourselves. Heart. Not be ungodly. Stop looking for Jesus. Stop being bad. Gather ye together, O ye people of my church, unto the land of Zion. The keys of Moses. All you that have not been commanded to tarry because you're ungodly, you're waiting for Jesus, stay behind. We don't want you. Go ye out from the great and abominable church, Babylon. Be ye clean. Heart, Laban, temple, storehouse, that bear the vessels of the Lord for the temple. Call your solemn assemblies, and speak often one to another, and let every man call upon the name of the Lord. All of you who hears this part should already doing the spiritual preparation. You shouldn't be sitting on your couch just listening to me. If those are my actual 1.5K subscribers. Who are just, I don't want to reveal it's me listening to you, Travis. I believe you, but I'm scared. That Strengthening Church Members Committee is very scary. That woman, oh my God, how brave she is to leave and get excommunicated, and her life ruined now that she's on John Dehlin. Oh my hell. Speak often one to another, let every man call upon the name of the Lord. Yeah. Hello? Emmanuel, he who is from the crossroads of the Wagoner, sun god at noonday. My full name of prophecy. Oh, it's already been uploaded? Now the audio is being uploaded? Cool. It's going to go quicker than I thought. Saving, however, is going to be a long time. It'll be half the time of the full video length. And so 2 hours is 1 hour uploading, and we're going into an hour and a half, or 2 hours and a half. Oh, dear God. So, yeah. It's 1:30 right now. Let's see. Yea, verily, I say unto you again, the time has come when the voice of the Lord is unto you. Go ye out of Babylon, gather ye from all nations, among all nations, from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other, the keys of Moses. That's my call out. And it will be done through the already established administration of the great and abominable church. They have the membership list. They have the email contacts. They will be the authoritative source so that we don't get people trying to sneak into Zion, to pass by the angels who stand as sentinels, being able to give them the key words, saying names, signs, and tokens of the holy Melchizedek priesthood and gain your eternal exaltation. No sneaking in. And so yes, with the transfer of authority, I would have access to all of your identities, even those of you who think that the church no longer has your church membership record. Oops. They still have them. Even if you've been excommunicated, they still have them. The guy's suing for that. I wonder how that one's going. Anyway. And so, yes, the call will be to all the stake presidents around the world. I will need to get a confirmation from them that they received it. And it will need to be given by a certain time so that I know they received it. Because if they don't, then I've got to go to either the counselors, which I probably should send it to the whole presidency, if not also any of the high councilmen of the stake, so that whoever gets it will receive it, so that if the stake president refuses to go and he wants to worship Jesus and wait for his coming, then fine, stay where you are. You get to be tarried. But we need somebody in the position to set it all up, and then they will notify the bishops. And then the bishops will then do an interview of the ward members and those who have left the church who find out about this, because the fall and the transfer should be worldwide news. It should not be a secret. None of this should be a secret so that it catches you unaware. Oh no, really? The church fell? I don't believe it. Prove it. This is a spam email, isn't it? How did you get this email? The whole world should know of the fall of the church and the transfer to me. Otherwise, this is all worthless. I've done these videos. This is it. And it's very nerve-wracking. I have no little honey bunny to cuddle with to comfort me during this time of stress. Just look at all the gray hairs. I'm amazed it lasted this long. My brother? No. Mission. White. So, this is what we're waiting for. So, the parting of the waters. In the book of the law, that's what the bishops will be making. The book of the law is those who are going to Zion. And he will make a list. He'll send me the list. I will already know who the bishops are for which stake. And then when you guys get to Zion, you will report in, and we will check the book of the law to make sure that everybody is accounted for. And if there are those who are not in the book of the law, well, okay, but we're going to have a special interview with you to understand what the hell are you doing here and why aren't you in the book of the law. Otherwise, you have to go. And if you're an illegal, ICE! We got one! Assuming that the United States is still being run by Trump. Because that'll depend on whether or not I have to pay for green cards for you. Or gold cards, I mean. Because the United States events also will play a factor in how this will actually get fulfilled. And since it hasn't, just expect failure and we're all doomed. Alright, so Exodus, parting of the waters, sign in the heavens. Thus, Genesis chapter 1, the waters parted from the waters and the dry land appeared. And so sure enough, the first day of creation was on the 30th of March, the first of Nisan Av. Genesis chapter 1 did not happen then, as I did in the video for that when I did it. But that is the tradition, because the Jews got it right. Passover, the waters parting, going through on dry ground. Baby, same thing. Waters part in a woman's womb. Baby, the religion at the woman's womb. Baby, religion, being born. Passover, the kingdom, Zion, New Jerusalem. This is it. Signs in the heavens and the likeness of things on the earth. So Genesis 1 is about that. The coming of me, the man like Moses, to take you through to Exodus. I did it in 2020 and 2021. Here I am again. Because Oaks said they were only doing a test run. 600 years from the time Lehi left Jerusalem. All happened, and yet it was a test run. And so yes, that's when the waters receded for the other creation story of the flood. And this is, the waters had already parted on the first, just as it did for Genesis and creation. But for this is when the dry land appears during Passover, which is Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark lands on the mountaintop on the 15th, which is Monday, right? Tuesday, which is the 17th of April, or Av Nisan. So this is not a coincidence. This is why Matthew tells us in the latter days of the second coming of not Jesus, the first coming of the Jewish Christ. Let's see, there's a sign of the prophet Jonah for the 3 days of darkness, and lightning, Jupiter from the east to the west, so shall the coming of Son of Man. So that's 23rd September 2017 there. That's the date he gave you. And then sun shall be darkened, moon turned to blood, stars fall from heaven. And here it is, 37. Despite having given you the dates numerous times already, just in this chapter alone, not to mention the rest of his book, but of that day and hour no man knoweth, no, not the angels of heaven, but only my Father only. Yeah, whatever. Get out of here, you Christian imposter. But as the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Ta-da, Noah. They even put a footnote for it so that you would know that it's Noah. Yeah, i.e. Noah. Seriously, you could have put a Greek there. Why didn't you put a Greek there? Greek, Noah. I mean, seriously? Did the Greek people involved in this fail to do it, and so you put it in as the supervisor? Or was it Bruce R. McConkie or Ballard? Dear God. And so he explains. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying. Not being merry. And giving in marriage. Now you also need to know Joseph Smith's translation of this. Because you women are evil, not the men. And David Gaunt was furious because his daughter was getting married. It was a gorgeous dress and gorgeous photography of that dress. But nonetheless, and in Sunday school, I got booted out of Sunday school because Joseph Smith. It was Joseph, not me, and somebody else in the class. Well, men are evil too. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Joseph Smith. The daughters of the sons of God are marrying out of the covenant. They're violating the covenant. That's what it's talking about. That's what marrying and giving in marriage. They're violating the temple covenants. The abomination of desolation. Prostituting of Mormon women. Hello? Don't blame me. It's not my fault. Until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came, and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be, the day that shall burn as an oven. Shh, don't tell. Oaks has given us 5 death threats just since Christmas. On the 8th December 2024, Oaks gave the First Presidency Christmas devotional message, talking about Easter. You're all gonna die. The resurrection is literal. 2nd of January 2025, after the terrorist attack in New Orleans. You're all gonna die. Look forward to Easter. In his Facebook post, 16th of February 2025, you're gonna die. A special video where he has tardive dyskinesia. Resurrection is literal. You'll all be resurrected if you're righteous. From Oaks' video, from his being prepared for the second coming. There will be a destruction of the wicked and a resurrection of the righteous. Wait, what? We're all gonna die? But only the righteous are gonna be resurrected? What? What are you talking about? The 18th of March, 2025, Nelson is on his deathbed. Oaks is on the back of the white horse with Holland and Irene. Nelson is way off in Gemini. Again, the First Presidency Easter message in text. You're all gonna die. Literally, he quotes John 10:10. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to murder, and to destroy. The church is robbing you. Tithing, section 119. They're the great and abominable church. They're the thieves who are coming as a thief in the night to murder you, claiming it's Jesus. Dear God, I have to do everything for you guys. You still don't believe. That's why I keep repeating that picture with Oaks. Supposed to remember that. Oh yeah, Travis said something about that. Who's this missionary, though? What does she have to do with any of this? Oh my God. Okay. Prophecies have been fulfilled. And so that's why it's during Passover when the Jews put it in as tradition. So on the 13th, Isaac is born. The birthright blessing son who usurps it from his brother. Yep. You do know that his brother is Ishmael, that Egyptian born, And the Ishmael means the name of Yah is the sun god, Emmanuel. So Isaac usurps it. It's not through Ishmael anymore. It's now through Isaac. It's a running pattern of the Genesis author. Everybody usurps the birthright blessing from his brother, oftentimes twins. And I should be looking at the Egyptian calendar for Passover. Which means we're going to have to stop the video to do that. So we'll get all this other stuff down. The Egyptian calendar 2025. Okay. Because it was right on target for 21st of August 2017. Dear God, that was just awesome. You have no clue what a real spiritual witness is, because you've never produced the fruit. But also the feast of Esther for King Ahasuerus and Haman. See, last month, even though that's Purim, because of Esther, this is the month of the fulfillment of it. Because on the 14th, then, Esther's second feast, where she exposes the enemy. Monday. Esther is Ishtar, who is Isis, the religion. She is born tonight. Tonight, la 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 la. And so, yeah, 14th, she is exposed. So will the church be exposed on that day? I hope so. I'm not holding my breath anymore. But Haman is hanged. Should be hung. Screw the Brits. On the 15th, the next day, Tuesday. That which Haman wrongfully accused of the Jews in Persia and ordered their extermination order, he then is punished as the false witness on the weapon that he was going to punish the Jews with. The law of Purim, Deuteronomy 19:19. The curse of Joseph Smith. I really hope so. All right, so that is Esther. Let's cross these off and I cover them. So I already got the creation, Noah's Ark, Matthew 24. We're cruising for a bruising. And Jacob and Esau. Yep. Okay, nothing more on this page. Because Joseph Smith goes over the fall. It's also on this. Section 101, verse 51. And then 65, I think it was, wasn't it? That we found some other stuff. I'm including you guys too. And so, yeah, Joseph Smith's 19 July 1840 is a commentary on verse 51, the fall of the church. And the enemy came by night, claiming it was Jesus, broke down the hedge, and the servants of the nobleman arose and were affrighted and fled. The church gets busted. And the enemy destroyed their works. all temples shut down or destroyed. Will it be dissolving? Will Pam Bondi finally respond? Because you know damn well on Monday the stocks are going to tank. After rising yesterday. You know. Pam! Pam! Where are you? And broke down the Mormons. Is this the dissolving of the church, or is it some kind of enemy attack? Is it Monday? Is it Tuesday? Would Pam finally get exposed and find my letter on Monday and then go in on Tuesday? I don't know. I'm not counting on it. I'm not holding my breath. I don't know how it's going to be fulfilled. So, saints may continue, holy places. Therefore I must gather my people according to the parable of the wheat and the tares, that the wheat may be secured in the garners. That's Zion, storehouse, treasury to possess eternal life, and crowned with celestial glory, when I shall come in the kingdom of my Father to reward every Mormon according to as his work shall be. While the tares are tarried behind in Utah, who are bound in the fascist bundles, and their bands are made strong to Jesus, that they may be burned, the day that shall burn as an oven. But the Exodus happens after, so the church is destroyed. Then there's the Exodus, and those who are left behind who cannot go because their names are not in the book of the law get burned. Interesting. Okay, so there's a scheduled time of events. Okay. So Purim, interesting. And so then going back, we have the Israelites already. I covered that one passing over Jordan River. And yes, we have a Jordan River here in Utah. The west side is going to pass over the Jordan River to the east side, and the east siders are going to say, "No, you shall not pass." But there's more for Joshua, Jesus, on this, isn't there? Yeah. On the 14th, Jesus' Israelites stop eating manna. Now this is also interesting because for Passover, the Jews have had the tradition of eating unleavened bread. Ugh. All symbolic of needing to get to Zion to have the leaven. Manna was what was provided for the Exodus Israelites. And then it finally stops on Monday, the 14th, which is the 16th of Nisan Av. In tradition, none of this was literal history, in case you've forgotten already. But the death of Joshua is after Passover, because Passover ends on the 19th, and 20th is Easter, when Nelson has said that we will be resurrected, or we need to think about the resurrection on that day of Easter, the last day after or the first day after Passover, Nelson or Oaks threatened to murder us. Which, again, is another connection to all this. We're running the test. We have made confirmations of the theory, and so now we're waiting for the actual test to be performed to see if it will happen. We've got more than 3 to establish a fact for all this. And, okay. So, yeah, Jesus' parting of the waters is also a part of this. Then, we don't have Passion Week, Islam, or Elijah and Elishua on this. I think that's where we need to go to now. Okay. So we'll start with Passion Week, since I've got that file folder up. The last quarter moon is on Easter, and on the 20th. Let's see where the moon is located on the 20th. Where are you? Oh, ooh, cool. That's the slideshow pictures. Okay. But we need Passover 2025. No. Here we are. Okay. And so the 20th for the quarter moon. You still went to the wrong side. Oh. 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 Wow. Yep. The mouth of the goat beast. Or the rear of the... I'd have to do a check. Huh. Wow. But yeah, at noon, it's most likely going to be... I don't know. I shouldn't speculate. The first quarter moon officially begins either at the rear of Sagittarius or at the mouth of the goat beast, which I'm betting is where it will be. Because that would be in the evening when that would happen. Oh, that would be hilarious. Yeah. Be hilarious. So yes, the word of the goat beast, a symbol of Lucifer, would occur on that time. Let's check you out. Since you are the official third quarter, they're saying April 21st when it occurs, so it is later in the evening, so it is by the goat beast. Just as the full moon is officially on the 13th tonight into tomorrow morning, the third quarter is officially on the 21st, which means the moon keeps going towards the goat beast's mouth. Awesome. All right, so Jesus, that is hilarious, because that's when Oaks gave the death threat. There it is. And so is that the day that shall burn as an oven? Because that's what the prophecy, that's what I just read from section 101, is that the church falls. We have an exodus to Zion. Then, boom, those who are left behind burn. Crap. So we may not get to the 1st of May to realize it failed. So the Christians are pure evil in what they did to the Jews and this Jewish religion, Jewish scriptures, interpretation, turning it into literal histories. And so they've completely botched this so that it is incomprehensible as pertaining to Passover of the Jews. And so it starts off when the man like Moses takes the Mormons to Zion, and they enter into Zion. Everybody's cheering, yay, we made it, yay! Palm Sunday. That's entrance into Zion, the New Jerusalem. That's the Jewish author and what he's trying to tell you. Because if you now believe in literal history chronology of Christians, everybody loves Jesus on day 1, and then boom, Good Friday, kill the beast. He's a witch. He's heavier, lighter than a duck. What the hell happened? What did he do? And so understand that this is not correct as Christians have it. So I've got to go over and explain everything correctly for you. It's not in chronological order. And so Palm Sunday is us getting to Zion, the Exodus, putting out the call, getting you to Zion, all of you cheering, going, yay, Travis is great, feeds us chocolate cake. We don't talk about the actual person of the actual comedic skit because he was arrested for sex abuse and then is dead now. And ruined pudding pops for all. Noah. Am I good or what? Holy Monday is when Jesus whips it good. Whip it good. When something comes along, you must whip it. Yes, the money changing at the temple. Laban, the chest in the temple, in the women's gate of the treasury, the storehouse. They have a trumpet attached to them, if you've forgotten or didn't watch that video from Stanford's comment. And people put in their money into the shofar horn attached to the box, and it went into the box. And so the gold plate, or the brass plates, even the gold plates, the brass plates are in the treasury, in a box, for a reason. Because it's teaching you about this, the cleansing of the temple, the fall of the great and abominable church for their abomination of desolation, prostituting women was section 119, destroying the temple rituals, being forced to pay, or die. This is what that is. And so, Holy Tuesday. Jesus teaching in parables because Mormons are stupid. But pay attention to those parables. We're not going to go over them. We're going to try to keep this under 4 hours. Try. We're already at 3. Holy Wednesday. This was the betrayal. This is the Last Supper. Right? That's Thursday. Maundy Thursday. Maundy. Monday, Thursday. Monday, Mercredi. Samedi. Dimanche. How's my French? And it's the Eucharist. Catholics. Oh my God. Have to do everything for them. And so, yes, this is 19 July 1840. Joseph Smith says, Brigham Young, you are Judas, along with all your 12. Yeah. How did Joseph know? Brigham Young refused to publish it. Oh yeah, I'll show you, Joseph. And so the Last Supper. Joseph Smith also exposed who the enemy is in the latter days. Brigham's Church, Nelson, Oaks. The Last Supper is the Last Supper for a reason. Latter days. Passover, the Passover feast. Preparing for the Exodus. That technically comes before the triumphal entry. Triumphal entry is supposed to be Easter Sunday. But nope, it's the death. And so yes, he dies on the cross. Rome didn't have crosses. They didn't use crosses to crucify. They used a pole, not a cross. It's not a T, it's a cross, for a reason. The Jew knew this. He was writing it during the Roman period time, where Christian, or Jews, not Christians, were being crucified on poles. He knows this. He's giving you the date of 8 April 2024. The sign in the heavens, casting the shadow on earth, crossroads, where A marks the spot in southern Illinois for Zion, the New Jerusalem, that Joseph Smith is telling you about in 19 July 1840. The sign by Isaiah in Paleo-Hebrew is the letter A and the letter X, the first and last letters of the Paleo-Hebrew alphabet. For a reason. The Jew knows what he's talking about. Don't turn it Christian, because then no man will know the day or the hour of his coming. And so, in case you didn't catch on that it had to do with solar eclipses over the United States of America from 2017 to 2024, he then makes it very clear. Death sign, solar eclipses of Emmanuel, the sun god, buried in a tomb, 3 days of darkness, and 3 hours on the cross. Solar eclipses last for an hour. Death in the tomb, 3 days. Days and hours of the coming of the Christ. Hello, right there, Matthew. What do you mean no man knows the day or the hour? You gave it to us. And so yes, resurrection. Restoring Joseph Smith's religion after Brigham Young usurped it. Joseph erected, Brigham Young insurrected. I am trying to resurrect it. Second erection. That is the real Passion Week. So we'll need to turn this into a picture for you. Oh my God. I'll probably have to put explanations to the right of it, because otherwise people say, yeah, Christianity is true, Travis. See, you posted it yourself. Dumbass. Sperm lives matter. Awesome. Okay, Islam. Ramadan, translated as burning. They just got finished with it last week, or a week and a half ago. It was like the 2nd of April when they finished the fast after Ramadan. And Mormons were all saying, we're just like you. We'll celebrate with you. We hate the Jews. We want to burn them too. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Ramadan, Judgment Day. On Fridays at noon, they have a special prayer where they quote from Muhammad, who usurped the role of the prophet in Deuteronomy 15 through 19. I, the Lord God, will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, like Moses. And so thus Muhammad claims to have gone to the top of the mountain to receive the Quran, the law of Islam, and is now called the prophet, with a capital T. He is claiming he's the Christ, whether Islam knows it or not, because they also believe in Jesus, and Jesus is going to be resurrected and come and burn people too. And so what is hilarious is that Islam knows about the Jewish Christ. Not only that, they know about Messiah ben Joseph and Messiah ben David. And so they are waiting for Messiah ben Joseph to come, because they think of him as a trickster. They think of him as the enemy, because obviously the Jews aren't correct, even though Islam uses the Jewish scriptures too, just like Christians. And so yes, they've been looking for both Joseph Smith and myself, supposedly, in their traditions at least, that we're out trying to fool people and deceive people, leading you guys astray. We're gonna get ya. We can take this down. Okay. And so yeah, that's just hilarious when I read that. They're trying to murder us. And it was Brigham who murdered Joseph and kept me a secret so that not even Mormons knew about me. So yeah. So yeah, the 2nd of April ended the fast. as Ramadan is the 9th month, salvation. Oh, you poor victims. The burning is their salvation. God. And so, yeah, scorching heat, burning is what Ramadan means in translation. And then the Judgment Day prayer of Muhammad on Friday at noon. And so, yeah, yesterday, again, they would have had their prayer talking about Judgment Day, quoting from Muhammad about the moon. And interesting, April 2nd was also Trump's Liberation Day. So I was concerned that I didn't cover that for you early enough to catch it. We got it now. So, Elijah and Elishua are not given dates by the Jews, but are fun and apply here because of the parting of the waters of the Jordan and transfer of authority. All following the same pattern because they're Jews. Duh. So 2 Kings chapter 2. Alright, so okay. I got a sneeze coming on. We'll start with verse 1, even though it's technically 8 and 13 when the two events take place. And it came to pass when the Lord would take Elijah, remember, the God YAH, into heaven by a whirlwind. And so, yes, the Passover likewise had whirlwind tornadoes in advance and after Passover. And sure enough, what do you know, or the Exodus and the parting of the waters. And so what do you know, sure enough, America, again, has had some severe tornadoes, and we've got some also scheduled coming up this week, next week, as I've checked Venture Sky yesterday. That the God YAH went with the God of salvation, Elishua. They have Elisha, but it's Elishua in Hebrew. From Gilgal. The covenant of men. Twice. Here you have two men of the covenant. The Jew knows what he's doing here. You got to know Paleo-Hebrew. The God YAH and the God of salvation, just say YAH and Jesus. Tarry here, I pray, for the Lord hath sent me to, ta-da, the house of God, Bethel, the temple. The Jew knows what he's talking about. And Jesus said unto YAH, as the Yahweh liveth, the new name of YAH, in Genesis chapter 2, verse 4, after parting the waters and passing through on dry ground. As thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they went down to the temple. And the sons of the prophets that were at the temple came forth to Jesus and said unto him, knowest thou that Yahweh, the new name of YAH, will take away thy master from thy head today? He's done his job. Time for him to go and a transfer of authority. He said, yea, I know it. Hold ye your peace. Salem. New Jerusalem. And YAH said unto him, Jesus, tarry here, I pray thee, for Yahweh, new name YAH, new name of YAH, hath sent me to Jericho. The walls, trumps, fall. Joshua, Jesus. And he said, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they came to Jericho. And the sons of the prophets that were at Jericho came to Jesus, and said unto him, knowest thou that the Lord will take away thy master from thy head today? And he said, yeah, I know it. Hold you. Oh. Yeah, we are repeating. Weird. So again, Salem. And YAH said unto him, tarry, I pray thee here, for the Lord hath sent me to Jordan. And he said, as the Lord liveth and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And they two went on. And 50 men of the sons of the prophets went and stood to view afar off, and they too stood by Jordan. In Amos 3:7 it says, surely the otten of the Lord Yahweh will do nothing, save he shall revealeth his secrets unto the servants of the prophets, sons of the prophets. And Elijah took his mantle, YAH took his mantle, authority, and wrapped it together, and smote the waters, and they were divided hither and thither, so that the two went over on dry ground. This technically is Joseph Smith, who is dead, but being resurrected by me with the Passover parting of the waters and passing through on dry ground. The mantle being passed from Joseph Smith to me, the rightful successor that Joseph Smith prophesied about. Section 103, verses 16, 15 through 18. Section 107, verse 91 and 92. Run the bleeping test, Mormons, and you're not even listening anymore. 4 hours? Hell no. It may even be longer. Oh no. We may not make it in time. The other one's finished. It's ready. We just got to now put this one up. Ah. And it came to pass, when they were gone over, that YAH said to Jesus, ask what I shall do for thee, before I be taken away from thee. And Jesus said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me. Joseph, remember him? He received a double portion because he's the birthright blessing son. Messiah ben Joseph. For Joseph Smith, 2 Nephi chapter 3. He's the Christ of Genesis. Double portion. Thus, Jesus is asking for a double portion. Ephraim and Manasseh. Double portion. Birthright, blessing son. Both mommy's breasts, because he's first. He doesn't have to share with a younger brother or an older brother. And he said, Thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee, but if not, it shall not be so. Really need the Hebrew on this. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire, the wagon for the sun god at noonday, and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. Pisces. You just got exclusive knowledge. Beyond the exclusive knowledge. I'm going to cry. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. YAH. The name of YAH is the sun god. And Jesus saw it, and he cried, my Father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more, because the Pegasus, the white horse, Pisces, it's unbelievable. That was prophetic, so should in memory here. My seership abilities. That's why I'm wanting to cry right now. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes, and he rent them in 2 pieces. And he took up the mantle of YAH that fell from him, and went back and stood by the bank of Jordan. I am surprised the Jews never caught this. And he took the mantle of YAH that fell upon him, and smote the waters, and said, where is the Lord God of YAH? And when he had smitten the waters, they parted hither and thither, and Elijah went over, passed over. And when the sons of the prophets, the Mormons, which were to view at Jericho, saw him, they said, the spirit of YAH, Joseph Smith, doth rest upon Travis. And they came to meet him, and bowed themselves to the ground before them. And then he smote off their heads for their disobedience. Whew, that was a close call. Almost broke down on that one. Did not expect that. I just knew that they had parted the waters. I didn't read it in advance. Dear God. Alrighty. The final thing. The Exodus. So there's some other stuff that I haven't updated because I'm still on the first page. This is on the second page. But the lunar eclipse, or there's a lunar eclipse of the star Antares again, like last month. And then the 20th, the day after, is the first quarter moon at the mouth of the goat beast. And then there's some other stuff for the rest of the month. There's the Battle of Jericho, Holocaust Remembrance Day of the Jews, and some signs in the heavens of some significance. But we'll do those after Passover, assuming that everything fails. We're still waiting for the curse of Joseph Smith and the T. Corona Borealis explosion. That would be awesome if it happens during Passover. At the crown. That would be awesome. Scientists or astronomers are watching every single day, waiting to see when it'll happen, so that they can then record it and then try to run predictions for the next 80 years from now when it could happen. Oh, man. So the final 25 minutes. Dear God. Looks like nobody appreciates me. I quit. So the Exodus, Passover. We start with early in traditional, all of this is traditional Jewish dating. Do not trust it, other than for the calendar prophecies. This is when Exodus 7, 1 through 9, and 12 occurs for the challenge of authority. Moses is in Pharaoh's court suing him. Let my Mormons go. Pharaoh kept saying no. So the first plagues, as everybody else calls them wrong, are 1 through 6. And then the one person left out plagues 7 and 8. What the hell, guys? Or was it 9? One of them they left out, and I had to find it myself and put it in. It is 9, because I didn't put it in here. What the hell? Why didn't I put it in here? Unbelievable. I know I had it and wrote it down somewhere, and now, oh dear God. And so plagues 7 and 8 are Exodus 9, 13 to 35. And so, for the first of Nisan Av, as those are in the early part of this year, and March for plagues number 7 and 8, challenge of authority is before. They don't give you a date. They just say it was previous. But on the first, they explain that that's the new year. And so that's 1445 BCE according to Jewish tradition. But understand, Lunar New Year, first day of creation, from the first calendar page for this month, on the 1st. So then we skip to the 10th of Av, Nisan. I've already explained those, I'm not repeating them here. We're running out of time to keep it under 4 hours. Is the Israelite Sabbath, the Great Sabbath before the Exodus. And this was on the 8th. And the 8th was Tuesday. Okay. And so it's not on the Sabbath day for the Jews, mind you. This comes from Exodus chapter 12, verse 3. And so technically today is the Sabbath, but Passover doesn't start until the evening, which is the Mormon Sabbath, because it's all about the Mormons. And so the Jews knew that the Sabbath day would be moved. We have to go over Matthew 24 on that. Because Mormons ain't gonna move on the Sabbath. We're worshiping Jesus. We're waiting for him to come. And this is the warning as he's using the Pharisaical rules on this. For God's sake, show signs and wonders. It's coming. And there. Oops. Desert. Come on, forth. Tribulation. Yeah, there we go. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. That's the Jewish temple abominations. Prostituting women, altering the endowment, which was just washing and anointings. Not covenant death cult, blood atonements of slavery and prostitution and blah, blah, blah. But Christians turn that into the day that shall burn as an oven. So, whoso readeth, let him understand. And so, those who are in Utah flee into the mountains. We do have to cross over the mountains to go back to Zion. Let him which is on the housetop come not down to take anything out of his house. That's the way they had him back then. The houses were all packed tight together so that you could hop from housetop to housetop. So don't go down into your house. Flee. Get out of there. Because the abomination of desolation is coming, which is the day that shall burn as an oven by Christians who shall burn us. Self-fulfilling their self-fulfilling prophecy from their false interpretation of the Jews. And so, neither let him which is in the field return back to get his clothes. Why are you naked in the field? What the hell? Woe unto them that are with child, because they most likely wore a loincloth to do the labor, and the clothes are back at home. Woe unto him that are with child, or to them that give suck in those days. Lana Brophy got that new baby, still giving suck, right? But pray ye that your flight be not in winter or in spring, neither on the Sabbath day. Oh no, we can only take so many steps on the Sabbath, so says the Pharisees. Little Jewish humor there for you. So, on the 12th, this evening, is the evening Passover meal of the Jews. And the 10th plague of creeping death of the firstborn, the curse of Joseph Smith. It can't just be Nelson. All leadership who could rise up in rank and thus be called in to fill the gaps in the ranks have to be gone and unable to do this. Because for the Egyptians, as the story goes, Pharaoh is succeeded by his son, the firstborn birthright blessing son. If the son is unavailable, the second birthright blessing son would then take over in his place, and then the third, and then the fourth. This is why they had polygamy for the pharaohs. Only for the pharaohs. Because they needed to make sure that there was a son to succeed on the throne. And so thus, the firstborn birthright blessing son gets first pick. And the way the Exodus is written, creeping death murders the firstborn of Egypt, the prince of Egypt, to succeed Pharaoh on the throne. He's dead. Moses is saying, you don't have authority. I've demonstrated my authority over you, Nelson, all these latter days. And so at the beginning of Passover, since the beginning of the latter days, I have been demonstrating my authority. And here you have Nelson, who takes over from Monson. But this is now. So you can't fix it into one interpretation. You've got to see it from the bigger picture of the latter days and right now for this week. It's 7 days because of 7 years. But it's 7 days because it's going on right now. The fall and the transfer of authority must happen. They said in prophecy it must happen. Because technically, if Passover comes and goes on the 20th, regardless of whether nuking happens or not, I quit. I have to. It's going to drive me crazy. Continuing to go on, continuing to do videos to a bunch of Mormon crickets. I've done the work already. I'm ready for an exodus. And so, yes, on the 12th, tonight, creeping death. And I don't, if it happens, great. But again, on Monday, that's when Haman is exposed, and then Tuesday, Haman is killed on the weapon that he used to murder Mormons with, or wanted to murder Mormons with. So we'll see. Will the prophecies happen? Will the signs in the heavens happen according to the things on earth? This is what this is all about, so that I can take off all next week and focus on an exodus, right? Is this my last video? My last supper video? Is it? I hope so. And so, boom, the Exodus begins on the 13th, tomorrow. Passover week, 15 to 21st, and 22nd outside of Israel, so we're technically outside of Israel, and so technically the 20th on Easter is involved for us. 8 days. 7-7, 8-8 is just unbelievable. 15, 9/11. So yeah, these are dreams that I've had that I'm reviewing with you. If you don't know the dreams, you don't know what I'm talking about. Gordon B. Hinckley's dream in 2008 was a transfer of authority dream. Gordon B. Hinckley gave me the key card to his office. Transfer of authority. And it had the number 77 on it. And when I went down to go to his office, I passed by the room number 88 with all of the plans filling up the room. And I wanted to go in and read them. But no, I went on to the room, said thank you for the transfer of authority. And then in 2016, I was living in a tent, tabernacle. I saw that Monson had left his boots with me for some reason. So I went to go find them. It's unclear as to whether I had shoes on or not. And saw him. He had his security guards around him. And I say, hey, do you want your boots back? Kept on walking. So I took them back to the tent. Tabernacles also 7 and 7. This is month 7. Tabernacles is month 7 of the religious calendar. This is 7 of the civil calendar. 7 7s, 8 8s are all involved in all of this. Because Tabernacles is also 7 days plus 8 days because of the evening. 7 and 7, 8 and 8. And Israel likewise has a Tabernacles, as I found out last year. Just stringing me along. 7 7s, 8 8s. And so then 9/11, 2024. That was the day where I was going to quit. Again. And I had a dream that morning of Irene transferring authority to me with the number 15 twice. 7 plus 8 is 15. Twice. 7 7, 8 8. I didn't catch it at the time until the Tabernacles thing from the end of the year. And so, yeah, all of this is involved. And so the parting of the Reed Sea, not Red Sea, but yeah, the Nile River turns red, and as it did with the first 6 plagues, for that reason. So yes, it is red because it's bleeding from the soil of the northern Egypt, Nile, when the waters melt and flood the Nile River with the red water of the soil into the delta, as that's the story of Osiris. He is murdered, cast into the Nile River, and then goes out the delta all around the world where he's scattered, and then he is gathered back to New Jerusalem, the Sun City. All of it plays a part. So yeah, that's the Egyptian version. I've done that version for you. All of this is involved. So the reeds, technically, is for the afterlife, the Sea of Reeds, in the spirit world, as they called it, the Amduat for the Egyptians. And that's on the 19th, the final day of the Passover. I hope so, because it's going to take a whole week to get the word out and to get Mormons to then come to Zion on the 19th, which would be Saturday next week, before Easter, which that's when the day that shall burn as an oven. So yeah, I'm hoping that this can happen, because I mean, they've failed. Nelson admitted he failed. Trump has failed. But is the terrorist threat, is that going to fail? Do not be surprised. Trump could easily get triggered this week and decide to do it himself, rather than some outside enemy, rather than Islamic terrorists or North Korea saying, hey, I'm being neglected here. I'm a powerhouse too. I'll show you, America, and do his rocket tests on us. You know, he's been quiet this year. He's up to something. So, yeah. He sent his troops to help Russia against Ukraine. And Xi also sent his troops to help Russia and Ukraine. And Ukraine has taken prisoners from China, and as evidence that China is helping also. Dear God. So, wow. But that's it. That's what we're looking at. And so then there's some other stuff that happened afterward. If I get them color-coded, great. If I don't, I won't, because this is the Exodus, I won't. But the signs in the heavens need to be color-coded on page 2. If I get to them, great. If I don't, great. I'm hungry. I'm cranky. I'm stressed. It's all right here at the final hour. I don't like this. I don't like hesitating to the last moment, rushing to get it done. That pisses me off to no end. I purposely try to get it done instantly, in advance, before it happens. Otherwise, and Mormons, unbelievers all. So, okay, so I don't need to worry about this, because we covered it, and this, because we covered it, and thus this, we covered it. And we covered all the scriptures. We're good to go. So I'm not likely to get 2 Nephi 29 for you, as I threatened. Oh, God. It's been a long latter days. So, sure enough, I did forget the Egyptian calendar for the month to check. The month starts on the 29th, just as it does for the Egyptian religious month. And this is the month of Ermothi, which is the mouth, word, 2 waters, not 3, 2, and then the cobra for seer, the mouth of the seer of the parted waters. This guy is not Christian. I've already established this back in 2017. He is taking it from the Egyptian documents and reenacting the calendar as if it were this day, this time, these years. And I've got the whole collection from the beginning. This guy is awesome, because he doesn't have an agenda here to prove the Jews are true, or the Book of Mormon is true, or Christians are true, or Islam is true. He's only doing the Egyptian calendar. And so while I'm saving this other thing, I hope the video is going to be okay while we do this, because I sped it up to make it go quicker. So let's get to the 13th, because they don't do it in the evenings. Whoops. Alright. 13th. Of April is the 16th day of the month. It is the feast of the second arrival of the moon, second coming of the religion. Hilarious. Just awesome. He who causes disturbances is the god of the feast. Second feast of the arrival of the moon. And so Isis is the presiding deity, and Min, facsimile number 2, figure number 5. Oh. So that's what I was worried about, is by speeding up the camera, it slows it down. This was not a cyber attack. Obviously, doing 2-hour-long videos back to back. No cyber terrorism? Yeah, this was because of the overload of the system. Back in 2017, no problems. I could have multiple things running. This is because of AI and the algorithm program that buffers things. Bastards. 7. That's Min. And that's not his hand or his arm, as Mormons like to say in advance. No, it says penis. Penis. Sperm lives matter. And so let's go to the 15th. This is for Shu, Feast of the Moon. Okay. And then the 16th, that's Tefnut, the wife of Shu, from the creation glyph. Shu is air and Tefnut is moisture. So Genesis chapter 2 is where they make their appearance. This is the feast of hearing his words twice, and thus the word with two parted waters. Fascinating. On the 16th, which is Wednesday. Interesting. And 17th, for Geb. And so, Feast of the Moon, clothed by the light. Uh, 18th is Nut, his wife and sister. Feast of the Providing Moon. Anubis is involved with this feast for the afterlife. And the 19th, the final day, for Osiris. YAH, from YAH and Jesus, Elishua. Yeah. Feast of the Uncovering of the Sharp Moon. Uncovering, revealing, unraveling, unscrolling, opening the scrolls. Fascinating. So, and then Isis is the day after for Easter, Ishtar. He doesn't know that Esther is Ishtar, let alone Isis. He just does the Egyptian stuff. So yeah, for Easter, Isis is in charge, because that's Easter, Esther, Ishtar, Isis. Fascinating. Okay.